Do you ever wonder why the more truth you see, the more alone you feel? You notice things, tiny inconsistencies in someone's story, the fake smile that doesn't match their eyes, the words left unsaid in a conversation that seemed innocent on the surface but left your chest tight for hours afterward. People say you're too intense or too sensitive, but you're not making this up. You're seeing something others can't or won't, and somehow that doesn't feel like a superpower. It feels like exile. If this sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're likely what Carl Jung called a deeply perceptive intuitive. And today, we're diving into why this rare psychological gift so often leads to isolation and how to transmute it into authentic strength. This isn't about toxic positivity or silencing your depth. It's about understanding the mechanism behind your inner world, the pain of perception, and how to turn insight into action without losing yourself in the process. Let's get something straight. This isn't about intelligence. It's not even about empathy. It's about perception, the raw, often overwhelming ability to feel the emotional, psychological, and symbolic layers of reality that most people filter out. You walk into a room and instantly sense who's insecure, who's hiding something, who's trying too hard to be liked. It's not magic. It's not overthinking. It's inner vision, Jung's term for seeing what lies beneath the surface. And it doesn't come without a price, because when you perceive people this clearly, you also perceive their masks, their contradictions, the lies they tell themselves to survive. And when you mention what you see, they recoil, not because you're wrong, but because you're right. You threaten their narrative. This is the first curse of deep perception. Truth becomes alienation. The more clearly you see others, the less they feel seen by you. You're not playing the script. You're improvising in a room full of actors who still believe the play is real. Over time, you start keeping your insights to yourself. You edit your truth. You stay silent when everything in you is screaming to speak, because you've learned the cost of honesty, and what begins as perception turns into loneliness. And you are someone who the world calls an introvert, a person who has a preference for solitary activities and a focus on inner thoughts and feelings rather than external stimulations. But why? You see, Carl Jung saw this clearly. He wrote that individuals with dominant intuition, especially introverted intuition, have access to a reality that feels symbolic, archetypal, and timeless. They don't just experience life, they read it, like myth. To them, a breakup isn't just heartbreak, it's the death of an old self. A new job isn't just a career move, it's a rite of passage. But here's the trap. Jung warned that the intuitive often becomes so absorbed in these inner perceptions that they disconnect from the shared world. They live in what he called the realm of potential, seeing patterns, meanings, and trajectories long before others can. But because others don't see it, the intuitive becomes isolated, or worse, dismissed. The tragedy? The intuitive is often right, but has no proof. It's like knowing a storm is coming while the sky is still blue. You feel crazy. Others tell you to relax, but your bones are already bracing for impact. And eventually, you start doubting your own gift. You ask yourself, why do I see so much if no one else sees it too? Jung's answer, because someone has to. Here's the deeper danger. The more you perceive, the more you risk losing connection to your own body, your own needs, your own stability. Jung called this the rise of the shadow, the unconscious part of the psyche we suppress. For the deeply perceptive, the shadow is often rooted in neglecting practicality, simplicity, and self-care. You're so focused on the deeper truth in others that you forget your own truth. You become the observer of life, not the participant. And eventually, that shadow turns on you. It shows up as resentment, bitterness, fatigue, or even spiritual arrogance, the belief that no one else gets it because they're all blind. And that's where the gift of perception becomes poisonous. You become trapped in your own insight. But this is also where the transformation begins, because the point of perception isn't to escape the world, it's to serve it. So how do you live with this depth without drowning in it? Here are 3 principles that Jung's philosophy, combined with lived experience, can offer you. 1. Ground the vision. You don't need to stop perceiving. You need to anchor what you perceive into your body and daily life. Jung believed that the intuitive's salvation lies in engaging the inferior function, often something concrete, sensory, or structured. Think walking without your phone, cooking a real meal, doing mundane tasks with full attention. These are not spiritual shortcuts, they're lifelines. 2. Translate, don't transmit. Just because you see something doesn't mean it's time to say it. One of the greatest skills of the perceptive is learning when to express and when to transform. Can you take what you perceive and express it in a way that builds instead of confronts? Can you offer truth without ego? Wisdom isn't just what you know, it's how you deliver it. 3. Build a sanctuary, not a fortress. It's okay to need solitude, but don't let it become isolation. Create relationships, however few, that honor your depth. Find or build communities of people who don't flinch at the truth. Jung believed in what he called the circle of wholeness, a psychological community that supports individuation. If you can't find it, start it. So let's return to where we started. Why does seeing the truth make you feel so alone? Because you were never meant to simply see. You were meant to guide, to translate, to embody that truth, not as a burden, but as a gift. Being perceptive doesn't mean you're doomed to loneliness. It means you're being called into authentic presence, one where you can honor both your insight and your humanity, one where you're not just floating in abstract meaning, but walking it, grounding it, and living it. Carl Jung once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken. Thanks for watching. If you're ready to go deeper into understanding your inner world and turning it into your strength, subscribe and join this growing community of thinkers, seekers, and visionaries. Next video will take you further ahead on your self-discovery journey. Leave a comment if this spoke to you. You're not alone. Not anymore. See you next time.